friends, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Thank you so much for coming back if you've been here before. If you are new to the channel, every single week I post a new pick a card reading. If you are into tarot, if you are into pick a card readings, consider subscribing to the channel. And every single week, you, the viewer, get to vote for what we are going to do next. And this week, we are looking at your next romantic date. I have three options for you. Option number one is the Lovers card from the Marvel Tarot deck, and that is with Spider-Man and MJ or Mary Jane. Option number two is the Lovers card from the Clueless Tarot deck, and that is with Josh and Cher. And option number three is the Lovers card from the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot deck, and that is with Jack and Sally. So pause the video if you need to ask yourself which pile, or maybe piles have a message for you, and let's talk about what you can expect in this reading. So to kick off the reading, we're going to look at who is your date, and this is going to give us a glimpse into their personality, energy, or defining traits. And this is also going to help you decide if that is the right pile for you, because if it's somebody you would date, then you know that is your pile. If it's somebody that you would not be interested in, then that's probably not your pile. We're then going to move into how will you recognize them. So what are the physical traits, aura, anything that you need to know that is going to help you recognize this person. We're going to look at the setting of the date. So where or how is this date going to take place? We're then going to move into the vibe. So the overall energy and mood of the date. We're going to look at your energy during this date. So how are you going to show up? The version of you that shows up to the date. We're going to look at their energy during the date as well. So how they'll act or present themselves. We're going to look at first impressions. So what will you notice or feel about the other right away? Then we're going to move into conversation and connection. So what you'll talk about or how deep the emotional connection goes during this date. We're going to go into romantic chemistry, so the spark, tension, or physical energetic attraction that exists between the two of you. We're then going to look at the aftermath, so how will you feel once the date is over, or what happens next. And then we're going to look at guidance from spirit, so advice about being open, confident, and or prepared for this romantic opportunity. So this is going to be one of those readings where I shuffle live on camera, but if that sounds like something that you are interested in, stick around. We are about to get started. If this is where you leave me, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope to see you soon. Let's jump in. Hello, pile number one. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Lovers card from the Marvel Tarot deck, and this is with Spider-Man and MJ. So I am going to place that right over there. As a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not resonate, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown, which is at the beginning. I highly suggest that you check that out. It is timestamped below. It's going to tell you exactly what is going to be covered and in the format it will be covered in. But to get started, we are going to look at who is your date. Like, who is this person that you're going to go on this date with? And if this portion of the reading doesn't sound like someone you would date, try choosing a different pile, because it would not be your reading if this doesn't sound like somebody that you would actually go on a date with. So keep that in mind. But let's see, who do we have here? So we have the lizard. We have the rabbit. We also have listen. Actually, I'm going to place that right over here. And we have, Gym Bro. So sculpted and confident, all muscles, all hustle, protein shake not included. All right, let's talk about who this is. So pile number one, I do want to mention the elements that are on top of the cards there. So for the lizard, we do have the element of fire. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius represented. For the rabbit, we do have the element of earth represented. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. That took me way too long to land on that for some reason. So let's talk about who this person could be, and then we will move into the rest of the reading. So this is somebody that feels very, very confident in who they are. This is somebody that is very sure of who they are. This is a person that is coming through as very this is somebody who's very instinctual. I would say that. This is also somebody that's very active. I do think that this person, for most of you, would probably spend a good amount of time like at the gym or being active in some way. I do also think that this person has the ability to be very intellectual and very connected to themselves and their mind. So this could be somebody that also has a very active mind. This is somebody who is very much always on the go. I do think this person is a little bit more extroverted than introverted, though take that as it resonates. This also feels like somebody who is very much into being active, not just in the way of like working out or keeping their body active, but I do think that this is somebody that is constantly moving around, constantly exploring different things, and really being on the go in their life in all areas. I do think this person can be very ambitious. I also think that this is somebody that does have a more gentle side to them, though I don't necessarily think that this person would show that side to just anyone. This feels like someone that has a lot of good problem solving skills. This also feels like somebody who is a very good listener. I do think that this person knows how to slow down when they have to slow down. Excuse me. I do think this person knows how to slow down when they have to slow down, though I do think they prefer to be on the go. Um, this feels like somebody who has a lot of different interests, a lot of different desires and things that they want to explore. I do think for many of you this person really does enjoy traveling, and this is somebody who probably has done quite a bit of traveling, and I think that they are absolutely someone who wants to continue to explore and travel some more. I do think that's a big driver for this person. I do also think that this is somebody that needs to really figure out balance in their life in order to take care of their overall wellness, because I do think that this is somebody that kind of has a they tend to overdo it at times where they kind of drive themselves to burnout. But this also feels like someone that has a very creative side to them as well. There's a lot that they have access to in their inner world, including like a lot of guidance for them, for them to figure out where they are going next and where they are going to invest their time and energy to next. I do think this is somebody who is a lot more sensitive than they want to show, that they want other people to pick up on. That's absolutely coming through. And I said this, but it feels like they are very picky about who they show all of themselves to. Like this person really wants to keep up a facade of how they want to show up in the world. So it takes quite a bit for them to let their guard all the way down with someone. I do think they can have a little bit of like restless energy. They do like to talk. Like this is somebody who is going to be very good at communicating. Sometimes like they may talk a little bit faster, especially with the rabbit being here. Like they may be a fast talker. But this is somebody who's very good at communication. This is somebody that is very focused on wellness. I do think that this person is very intentional about what they consume, what they put into their body. Like they feel very health conscious for most of you. There's something very kind about this person's eyes that's coming through. They like to come across more as the lizard. Like they like to come across more as this lizard energy than this rabbit energy. But they are very sweet. They are very caring. And almost like there's somebody that you would want to like hug and cuddle with, but they don't always put that energy out first. Like they like to show up as more I don't want to say more strong because this person is very strong, but they like to put out this like tougher exterior than what is really there. And it takes them a bit to really show that like softer side to people. That's absolutely coming through here as well. But let's get into tarot. So I am going to be using the Marvel tarot deck for this, and I will be shuffling on camera, but let's talk about how will you recognize this person. And this could be somebody that you already know. This could be somebody that you will meet new. So we're going to ask about like this could be physical traits, aura, just how will you recognize them, that this is the person that is coming up in this reading. And this could be when you meet. This could be how will you recognize them. If you know them already, just how will you know that this is your date? Let's see what comes through. For my pile number ones, how will my pile number ones recognize this person, this date? Any physical traits, anything that wants to come through. Let's see. There we go. I'm going to move that over to the side. And let's see what we get. So we have the High Priestess, and I believe that's Storm. Yeah, that's definitely Storm. We have the Ace of Wands. And we have the Hierophant. So pile number one, how will you recognize this person? I do think that you are going to recognize them intuitively. You are going to recognize who this is. Like, I do think that either once you've met them or you already have this type of connection with them where you feel very drawn to them, you feel very close to them, you feel very attracted, very drawn in by their energy. There seems to be like an underlying current of interest between the two of you. And I do think that that's going to be one of the main ways that you are going to recognize this person. I don't know why I did that, but I didn't look at the bottom of the deck. We also have the Nine of Swords. I also think that you're going to recognize them because they're going to make you feel at ease. They're going to make you feel comfortable, especially if you are someone that tends to be very nervous, that tends to be very anxious, especially when it comes to dating or when it comes to like figuring out who you want to date. There's something about their energy that is going to make you feel more comfortable, more at ease. Let me pick some physical attributes cards for you. For this portion, I'm going to pick a few of them, only take the ones that resonate for you, because there's going to be many different people watching, so obviously not everything is going to be for everyone. But let's see if we can get some physical attributes, so take these as confirmation. For my pile number ones, what will this person look like? Because I'm not getting too much about looks here, so let's see what will they potentially look like. Anything that my pile number ones need to know about physical traits, physical attributes that this person has. And for some of you, you may already know who this is. Bottom of the deck, we have curly hair. We also have short nose. We have thick eyebrows. We have tattoos. We have a beard, so this could be somebody that has a beard. And we have bronzed skin. So as I said, with these, take the ones that resonate for you. Not everything is going to be for you since it's a general reading, so take the ones that stand out to you the most. But those are some of the physical attributes that this person can have. Now, let's get into the date itself. So what is going to be the setting of the date, the where or the how? For this next date, for my pile number ones, what is the setting of this date? What is the where or how of this date that my pile number ones are going to be going on. The where or the how of this date. For my pile number ones, the where or the how of this date. Bottom of the deck, we have the Empress. Ooh, okay. We also have the Three of Coins or the Three of Pentacles. We have the Page of Wands coming through, and we have the Ace of Swords. So pile number one, this is going to be a date where I think it's going to be multiple locations. At the very least, it has the potential to be multiple locations. This feels like a date where you and your date are going to be able to kind of explore different things. I do think that this person is going to plan the date, and I think that they're going to plan the date to something that both of you have interest in. It feels like this is a date where there is a level of activity. There's a level of like movement. This doesn't feel like movie and a dinner necessarily, where you're just kind of sitting there. This feels like there is some sort of like curiosity, exploration, something that you can kind of do that's very fun, very active together. So this could be like you maybe go play some mini golf. This could be going on a hike together. This could be going and trying something, like there's some sort of activity that is coming through. And I do think for some of you, this is going to be multiple locations, because I do think this is going to be like, let's do this activity, but let's also get something to eat, or like, let's get a drink, let's get coffee. This feels like a date that is going to be going and going and going. In the sense of, this doesn't feel like it's a 1 hour thing and then you both go home. This feels like there is a location, like an initial date, an initial location that you both go towards, and you are enjoying yourselves, and then you decide to go from there. Like you decide to expand on that. But it does feel like there's going to be activities, there's going to be movement, there's going to be something being done that's not just like sitting around for like a movie or dinner. This could be like, let's go for a walk, let's go on, like there's a level of adventure to this. There's also a level of you being able to kind of show each other something that you are interested about, something that you are very much into. And I do think for most of you, this person is going to plan the date, and they want to kind of show you something that they're either interested in, or something that they're very good at. There's something about this person, like they're going to want to impress you. They're going to want to show off in a way, because they want to impress you. And they're going to pick something that, like, this could be bowling that's coming through as well. It just feels very active, and it feels like they want to kind of show you, like, let's go do something together. And I do think that part of that is going to make it more relaxing for the both of you, but especially for you, my viewer, where this person is really going to prioritize your comfort. And I do think that if you were sitting around just looking at each other, or like sitting around just having dinner for the first time, or during this entire date, you would be a little bit more nervous, especially for those of you where this is a first date. Whereas like if you're doing things, you're moving around, it gets you comfortable a lot faster. I do think there is also that like element of, we're going to do something where we can also talk and get to know one another and exchange information about one another. That's absolutely coming through, and that could be through getting dinner, that could be through the activity itself. But it feels like it's a multi-parter type of date. Like you go one place, you decide you want to keep going, you want to keep exploring, and then you move on to the next thing. And it does feel a little bit spontaneous. Like it feels like the first part of the date may be absolutely planned, but then everything from there forth is not as planned. It's more spontaneous. Let's take a look at the vibe. So overall energy and mood of this date. So let's see. For my pile number ones. Keeping these cards in order is very hard. I'll tell you that, pile number one. So for my pile number ones, what is the vibe, the overall energy and mood of this date for my pile number ones? What is the vibe for my pile number one's date? There we go. Bottom of the deck, what do we have? The King of Coins or the King of Pentacles. Pile number one, I do think this is going to be a date where you're both going to feel very comfortable in each other's presence. Like you both are going to feel very confident, very comfortable. And if this is a first date, you both are going to like feel at ease very early on. If this is not a first date, this is absolutely a date where you already have a level of like comfort. But for most of you, it does feel like this would be like closer to either a first date or like very early on in a connection. Let's see what else we have here. Judgment. We also have the Magician and we have the Chariot. So overall vibe, this is going to be a very active date. This is going to be a date where, again, a lot of comfort, a lot of just feeling at ease with each other and having fun. I do think this is going to be a very fun date. I don't think this is going to be one of those dates where it feels super serious or super overwhelming. This feels like a very fun date. This feels like a date where you both get to talk, you both get to explore one another. This also feels like a date where it's very adventurous and spontaneous in many ways. Because I do feel this for this group. There is a time and place for the initial date. Like this is going to have, like this could be like, you know what, we're going to start Saturday at 3 p.m. at, you know, whatever location. But it's very adventurous and spontaneous in the sense of as you go through the date, as you explore throughout the date, what you're going to find is you're going to be able to add on. You're going to be able to figure out what comes next. This is a date that gets extended. This is a date where you continue to figure out things that you want to do together. That's absolutely coming through here. And I also think that this is a date where the longer that you are spending with one another, the more comfortable you are getting. And I think that you're going to be able to share very authentic sides of yourselves through being so comfortable in what is going on in the date and with each other. Because this feels like a very no pressure type of date, but it also feels like a very strong spiritual connection here. And the mood does feel very light and fun, and it feels very exciting as well. Like, what are we going to do next? How can we move forward? Where are we going to go from here? And it's one of those dates where it may be, you know, this may start at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And next thing you know, it's 10 p.m. at night and you're still together. You're still kind of exploring different things and going from place to place. Like, this is one of those dates where you're not going to want this to end. Yeah, the Fool card. You're going to be very open to exploring. And I do think for many of you, this is going to be like either like a first date or very early on in the connection type of date. This doesn't feel like a very established type of relationship, though it can be. Take it as it resonates. But for many of you, I do think this is going to be like near the start of something type of date, because there's a lot of just like exploring and getting to know each other. So pile number one, let's take a look at what is your energy during the date. So how you'll show up, the version of you that shows up for this date. Where are you at energetically during this date? Let's take a look for my pile number ones. Where are my pile number ones? What is my pile number one's energy during this date? Bottom of the deck, what do we have? The 9 of Wands. I do think some nervous energy is here. Let's see what else we have. The Knight of Swords, the King of Coins or Pentacles, and the 7 of Wands. So I think as far as how you show up and the version of you that shows up for this date, I want to start by talking about this Nine of Wands that is here because the Nine of Wands is typically a card that speaks to, kind of being determined and being very like locked in the moment and being fully present, right? It can be a card that says like I'm excited for what's to come, but I'm also kind of a little bit hesitant or a little bit like kind of cautious, which is totally fair. And this to me kind of confirms that this is going to be very early on for some of you, for many of you. I think this is a first date. And I think that this is going to be a date where you're going to show up, and it may be one of those dates that you are so nervous. You are, before you even show up, you're like, do I really want to go? I don't know if I want to go. You may need a pep talk from your friends, from somebody that you are close to, from somebody that you have confided in. It feels like there may even be a little bit of a need for a pep talk. Like, just go, enjoy yourself. It's going to be fine. So there may be a little bit of nerves there. We then move into this Knight of Swords. And I think that this Knight of Swords is really speaking to when you get there, you are focused, you are trying to put your best foot forward. I also do think that this is pretty much in tune with the date itself, because I do think this is a very like fast moving date. I think this is a very active type of date. And I think that you're going to be in that energy of like, let me put my best foot forward. And I do think that you're going to want to impress each other, and I think that's absolutely coming through. I also do think that this is a pile based on the energy that you're showing up in. I do think this is a pile where you are dating with the intention of something longer, something stable, and building something. So this doesn't feel like a date that you're going into super casually. Like, you're going in with the intention of, is this the right person for me? Do I want to keep exploring this, whether this is a first date or this is further along in the connection? It also feels like you are going in prepared. Like, for my pile number ones, you have your armor on going into this date. Like, you want to make sure that you are showing up as the best version of yourself, but that you are also prepared to deal with anything that may come up. And it has me wondering, what types of dates have you been on, pile number one? I will say I had a friend who went on a date 2 weeks ago, and it was intense. So I do know how dating is going at this point in time. But it's like you are prepared for just about anything. And you're going in, again, like you're going in with the best of intentions, but you're also going in with a very like clear mindset on as to what you want, what you desire. And I think that you're going to go in with the intention of being present, being fully there. You want to make sure that you give your date the time and energy that they deserve. You want to make sure that you're not on your phone. Like, I think all of that is coming through. And I do think you're going in very bravely into this date of like, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to try this out. But also, I do think you're going to have very clear boundaries in your mind of what you're going to put up with and what you're not going to put up with. So there is a little bit of like, let me go in prepared, let me go in ready to respond in any way that I need to respond. And I do think that you're going to go in very much willing and able to be vulnerable and to share yourself with this person, in the sense of like sharing who you are, sharing your ideas, sharing your desires. So this is a very open energy, while at the same time still being cautious of, it's somebody, I think for many of you, this is going to be somebody new. Let's take a look at their energy during this date. So your date's energy during this date. Let's see where they're going to be at. So how will they act? How will they present themselves? What is going to be their energy during this date? For my pile number ones. Bottom of the deck, what do we have? We have the Nine of Pentacles. They're going in really expecting this to be a successful date. They are going in with the best of expectations. With the best of expectations. They're going in with the best of intentions so far. Let's take a look at what else we have here. The Knight of Wands. Very interesting. You're going in as the Knight of Swords. They're going in as the Knight of Wands. They're very interested, pile number one. We have the Eight of Coins, or the Eight of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. So they're definitely going in, putting, like, you're both going in with your best foot forward. You're both going in with the intention to be the best version of yourself and to show up authentically. I do think that this person is going in really ready to show you a good time and really ready to show you that they are very much interested. For many of you, this person is going to pursue you. This person is going to ask you out on the date, and they're very interested on keeping this going. They're also going in with the understanding that this is going to take some time, and with the understanding that they want more dates. They don't want this to be a one and done type of situation. So I do think that they're going in also pacing themselves and understanding that if everything goes well, they want to have more dates. So they are coming in with a very like grounded, patient energy, even though they also want to have a good time. They want to have fun. They want to get to know you. They do know that they want to pace this out in a way that allows for the both of you to continue to see each other, to continue to explore one another. I do also think that this person is coming in very much interested and very emotionally available and open. They're coming in very intentionally into this date, and I do think that they are going to be in a place during the date where they're going to share, like, this is going to be somebody who may tell you, like, listen, I really like you. I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see where this goes from here. And I do think that they're going to make it very clear that they want this to continue, that they want to get to know you as the date goes on. And to me, this confirms that for most of you, this person is going to be the one planning the date, because again, they're coming in, they want to impress you, they want to have a good time, and they want to show you almost like a glimpse into their life and what they're interested in. And I do think this is somebody that is very active, and part of what they're planning in this date is like a little bit of like, let me show off, because I really like pile number one. So let me show off for pile number one, so that pile number one can see everything, how good I am at certain things. There is a level of that that's absolutely playing through this, but they're going to come in also understanding that this is that what they want to do is invest in the long term, if everything goes according to plan. So let's take a look at first impressions. So what will you notice or feel about each other? And when I say first impressions, I am talking about first impressions during the date. So this could be somebody that you already know. I'm not talking about first impressions necessarily when you meet each other, though that could be the case for some of you, especially if like you are talking to someone online and you end up meeting for the first time during this date, or whatever the case may be. So take it as it resonates. But my intention for this question is first impressions during the date itself. So first impressions between the two of you. Bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Cups. Yeah, you two are interested. You two are liking what you are seeing. You are liking what you are hearing. We have the Three of Wands. We have the Nine of Cups. Okay. And we have the Ten of Wands. This is actually pretty good on both sides. So the Page of Cups is here. There is absolutely that romantic interest. There is that attraction. There is that chemistry between the two of you. I did say this from the very beginning, but I do feel that you both feel at ease with each other very, very early on. I do think there is a lot of like a crush type of energy here very early on as well. This doesn't feel like the type of date where you go in just to give it a chance and see if it works out. This feels like the type of date that very early on you are interested from the very beginning. You want to explore this connection. You want to see where this goes, and you're like all in the sense of like, this is somebody that I really like. This is somebody that I want to get to know more about, and this is someone that I want to explore with. I do also think that for the both of you, there is that recognition that this has potential. I do think both of you are going to keep yourselves grounded in the sense of you're not going into this expecting this to lead to marriage. This is why I think for my pile number ones, for many of you, if not all of you, this is very early on into a connection. For most of you, I do think this is going to be a first date because there is that like heavy interest, but at the same time there's a level of caution too. So I do think for both of you, you are going into this and the first impression is there's potential here. I like what I see. There's a lot of chemistry here, but also let me take my time. I do think for both of you with this 9 of cups being here, there is also that recognition that this person could be my person, right? Like this is the type of person that I would go for. This is my type. This is somebody that I absolutely want to get to know more of. That's all coming through here. And with this 9 of cups, I think for especially my viewer, there could be that recognition of this is the person that I have manifested and this is the person that I've been trying to manifest in my life. So that's also coming through. We do have the 10 of wands. So I do also think that you both are going to notice that that each of you is nervous during this date, especially at the beginning. I do think that's going to come through. I do think you're going to be able to see the nerves. I also think that you are going to be in a place where you're going to want to keep seeing this person. So again, it's that like, let me be the best version of myself and let me show up and like, yes, let's keep the date going. Yes, let's keep exploring one another. Yes, let's keep getting to know one another. I think that's going to be very, very important in this date. And part of the first impressions as well is going to be like, I am very interested. I am very available to this person. And there's that level of recognition that this may be life altering in some ways, but I also do think you're going to notice that there are some nerves on both sides. And I also think that you're going to really be able to get a good read on each other very early on, not only when it comes to the date, but as like the type of person that you both are. So let's take a look at conversation and connection. So what you'll talk about or how the date is going to go. What's the emotional connection here? All right, so for my pile number ones, the conversation and connection during this date, what's going on here? What are my pile number ones talking about? What are they exploring? What's going on with my pile number ones? Bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit. I do think this is going to be one of those connections where you go deep, where you talk about who you are as people, where you talk about your dreams, desires. Like, I do think you're going to go deep, but let's see what else we have here. The Death card. We also have the 10 of Swords and the 5 of Wands. Yeah, you're going to talk about anything and everything, pile number one. This feels like you are going to share who you are. And this isn't a one-way street. This is both of you really opening up to each other and talking about, as I was saying, like your dreams, your desires, your fears, your vision for the future. To me, this feels like the type of date that you start talking very early on, especially if this is a first date, very early on about like, where do we see ourselves, right? Not necessarily where do we see us as a couple. I think it may be a little bit too soon for that, but where do you see yourself? Where do I see myself? Does this align with where we are going? This feels like a very intentional type of date in the sense of you both are trying to figure out what's possible here. And I do think you both are looking for something that is more long term. I also think that you're going to kind of go very deep into like situations that you have experienced, what has made you the person that you are today, and the same thing for them. Like, what has made them into the person that they are today? What have they been through? What do they love? What do they not like, what drives them in life, what motivates them in life, what is a deal breaker in life for the both of you. And I do think this is going to be a lot of just, even though we're doing things, even though we're moving around, we're still having these very important and deep conversations where we are allowing each other to see underneath the surface very early on, very like intentionally opening up. And I do think with the Three of Cups being here as well, there is that sense of comfort, that sense of I can really share just about anything with this person and it feels comfortable to do so. I also do think there's going to be a level of understanding that you both have very similar experiences in some ways, and I also think very different in other ways, but there is a level of understanding that you can offer each other. Let's take a look at the romantic chemistry. So the spark, the tension, physical or energetic attraction, anything and everything that wants to come through. So for my pile number ones, what is the romantic chemistry during this date? What's going on here with this romantic chemistry between my pile number ones and their date? You know what? I will take 4. Bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Swords. We also have, sorry, I just realized I can pick one up. We also have the Four of Coins, or the Four of Pentacles. We have the King of Cups, okay. The Knight of Cups, okay. And the Four of Swords coming through. So pile number one, I do think romantically speaking, there's a lot of just feelings that are coming up. And I don't want to call this love, because I think for many of you, this is very early on. If it resonates with you that this is somebody that you know for a while and this feels like love, take that as it resonates. But I do think for many of you, it's like that spark, that interest, that chemistry that I want to explore this more. I also do think that as far as the romantic chemistry, it's going to grow, it's going to expand. And I do think that for the both of you, you are going to choose to open up. Because I do think that I said this from the beginning. There is a level of caution going into this date for the both of you. But I do think that you are both, especially as the date progresses, as the date goes on, I do think for the both of you, you are going to be opening up. You are going to be more willing to kind of expand and open yourselves up emotionally, right? Because I do think very early on, it's going to be very easy to go through the conversation and share yourselves with each other. But I also think that emotionally, as the date goes on, as you get to explore more about one another, you start to feel like that strong chemistry, that strong connection. It kind of grows and it starts to really cause the both of you to decide, like, you know what, I am going to kind of put my guard down. I'm going to really be open to this. So there is a lot of attraction here. There is a lot of chemistry here. And I do think there is romance. At the same time, I do think there's a level of like cautious romance. This feels like two people that have been through it, two people that are seeking something serious, something long term, but also two people that want to make sure that they are being very intentional and safeguarding their own heart. So I do think that by the end of this date, and we are about to talk about the aftermath of the date, I do think that you're both going to be in a place where you are going to be way more willing to open up and see where this goes. But I also feel like this is going to be a very grounded type of intentional, I'm still going to mind myself. I'm still going to keep in mind that I need to learn more, that I need to know more, that I need to explore more. But let's move into the aftermath. So how will you feel once the date is over or what happens next. We're going to see what wants to come through here. So for my pile number ones, what is the aftermath of this date? And this could be feelings. This could be like, are there future plans? We're going to allow the cards to tell us the message. All right, I see them now. Bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Wands. We also have, the Sun card. Okay. We have the Five of Cups and we have the Three of Cups. So the aftermath here, right? Like what happens after this date? We have the Two of Wands. I absolutely think for many of you, you will see this person again. And I think for many of you, there is going to be that express interest in, when are we doing this again? Let's plan something out. For some of you, before the date ends, you may already have like a time and place for the next one. For others of you, it's that interest of like, let's explore this more. When do you want to meet? Like, let's look at each other's calendars, schedules, and let's get back to each other. The Sun card, there's a lot of happiness here. There's a lot of joy. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of anticipation. It's interesting that we have the Five of Cups here, because I think the Five of Cups, and I want to talk about what the Five of Cups typically means. Typically, the Five of Cups is a card of like grief or disappointment. It can be a card of broken heart. I think the Five of Cups is here because there is a level of like, I don't want this to end. Like the date itself is one of those dates where you just want to keep going and going and going and going, and you don't ever want it to date. You want to end. You want to freeze time so that you can remain in that moment, in that time, forever and ever. So I think that's what the Five of Cups is talking about, especially when you look at the surrounding cards. And then we have the Three of Cups. So it's that sense of comfort. It's that sense of like, I can, I can be myself with this person. This person is very accepting of who I am. So I do think that the aftermath of this is you both are even more comfortable with one another. You both are very excited. This is a very successful date for the both of you. And this is a date that for many of you, you are going to see this person again, and you may have plans. Even before you officially end this date, you may already have plans. At the very least, I do think at the end of the day or the evening, or, whenever this date ends, there is that understanding of, we are going to see each other again, and I'm very interested in seeing you again. And there is going to be that level of just liking each other's company. And I know some people get really mad when I say this, but I do think there's a level of like, just, I like who this person is as a person, to the point where like this could be somebody that not only I see myself with romantically, but this could be like a friend that is also a romantic partner. This could be somebody that like I just enjoy spending time with this person. All right, pile number one, let's look at the guidance from the universe, from spirit for you, my viewer. So this could be advice about being open, confident, or prepared for this romantic opportunity. So what is the guidance from spirit for my pile number one, my viewer? What is the guidance here? What is the guidance about this romantic opportunity? Let's see what wants to come through for you. And then we're going to look at the oracle. So we have the Queen of Swords. We also have the Hermit card. We have the Queen of Pentacles. And we have the Ten of Pentacles. So pile number one, your advice is it's okay to open up. Your advice is here that you are quite capable of protecting your heart, and you are quite capable of taking care of yourself. For some of my pile number ones, only take this part if it resonates with you. If it's not resonating with you, it's not for you. For some of my pile number ones, you may be in a place where you really desire this connection or love and connection and romance and a romantic relationship, but you may also be in a place where your guard is up. You're not quite willing to let anyone in, right? That's that Queen of Swords energy. It's very self-protective. It can be very cutting, it can be very blunt, it can be even aloof at times. So this is saying if that's the case and what you want is love and a relationship and partnership and romance, there has to be a way to find balance between this is how I'm going to protect my heart and this is how I'm going to lower my guard to let someone in. And again, a big message here is you can trust yourself because you've got yourself. This is also saying focus on what you want and have the right boundaries in place. But again, you have to have the walls have to be able to be penetrated by someone, right? Like you can't have walls so high up that no one can get through, because that would also block out your soulmate. That would also block out a good partner or a divine counterpart, right? So it's about finding that balance here and trusting that what you want wants you back and that it's trying to reach you, and allowing yourself to experience and be open to the things that you want. That's the message that's coming through here. And pile number 1, a big message is you are ready. You are ready for this. You are ready to explore. It's more about letting your guard down enough to let the right person in. So let's take a look at what additional cards we have here. We're going to start with the messages of love. So we have here and now, your true love is already a part of your life. So this could be a message for someone here. If you know who this is, that's confirmation. For others of you, this is reminding you to remain present, to remain grounded, because you're going to find this person, you're going to find love by being grounded and present in the present moment. We also have spiritual lesson. This person is in your life to teach you a spiritual lesson. So one thing that I do want to say is sometimes we think about lessons and we think about like there's a little bit of a negative connotation with that. Sometimes the lesson is to let loose and have fun, and it could be a lesson that, or it could be someone that's going to teach us a lesson that has the potential to be in our life long term. But I do think this person is here to experience love and connection and ease and ease you into this, especially for those of you where you may feel like a little bit guarded at this time. We also have passion. Try something you've never done before. I do think there's a lot of passion in this connection. I also do think that this is going to be a date where you're going to be able to explore new things. Let's see, I have these cards here. So we have pot, sweet reward, treating yourself, something desirable, recreational, giving into temptation. Ooh. So there's definitely something good coming in, something sweet. Treat yourself. And also pile number 1, allow yourself to explore this really open-heartedly. Then we have dog, ability to devote yourself to your path, happy, loyal, faithful, friend, devoted. So there is a lot of like loyalty and just sincerity here in this date and between you and this person. And then we have bowl, meeting basic needs, food, all needs met, sustenance, refilling your spirit. They put that on there twice. Refilling your spirit. Take care of yourself. Practice self-care. Give yourself what you need and allow yourself to be present. I think for this group, a big message is about being grounded and present in the present moment. Let's see what we have here. So we have no scorekeeping. I cut ties with past conflicts and make my personal life a clean, shiny slate. Beginning this moment, everything is new. When an old grievance repeats itself in my head, I introduce it to my head tenants, tolerance and equanimity. Then I give it its stupid t-shirt and records back and tell it to leave. So yeah, being fully present and grounded, I think, is the best thing that you can do. Pile number 1. We also have receiving. I open up and allow myself to receive love in all ways, from all directions. It may seem scary, but it's better than receiving audits, bed bugs, or hate mail. I receive love and it feels so good that I decide to receive it some more. and then some more, and maybe just a wee bit more. And finally, we have glamour. Into this mirror, I now see the realms of possibility. So that could be an affirmation. This could be a little bit of a spell. This is from the spell cards, so I'm going to read it one more time. Glamour. Into this mirror, I now see the realms of possibility. Pile number 1, your affirmation for the week is I am open to receiving love and possibilities. I am open to receiving love and possibilities, because there's a lot that wants to come in for you. And I think it's closer than what you may realize. But pile number 1, that is what I have for you. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. All of those things help me out so much, and it helps you find the channel once again. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. Also, if you have any suggestions for future videos, drop them in the comments below. I do keep a running list. Stay tuned for the next poll. Every single poll is posted on Monday, and it decides what the next reading is. There will be an extra reading dropping very, very soon, so stay tuned for that as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you are drawn to the Lovers card, and this is from the Clueless Tarot deck, which we will be using for this reading. So as a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown at the beginning, which is going to tell you exactly what's going to be covered and in the format it will be covered in. So I highly suggest that you check that out. It is timestamped below. And to get started, we are going to look at who your date is. So for this portion, we are going to dig deep and figure out who this person is. If this doesn't sound like someone that you would be interested in, that you would date, then this is not your pile. Try choosing a different one. Or it could be that this specific reading doesn't have a message for you, which is okay. All right, let's take a look. So first we have the dragon, the moth. We also have balance. And then finally we have the adventurer. So bold and spontaneous, lives for thrills, but schedules are a foreign concept. And for this deck, it's a new deck. It does have a little bit of like light and shadow attributes. So every single card has like the good and maybe the not so great. So I am going to read the card accordingly. But let's get started. Let's talk about who your date is. So before we jump in, I do want to talk about the zodiac signs, and I kind of go by the element at the top of the card there. So with the dragon card, it's a spirit card. All 12 zodiac signs are represented. And then we do have the moth with the element of air, and that is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But let's talk about who is your date, pile number 2. So I want to start by talking about, I actually want to start a little bit with that moth energy before I talk about the dragon energy. But this is somebody who is very, very adventurous. We have the moth and we have the adventurer here. So there's something to this person. They're always on the go. They're always on the move. They're always looking for their next adventure. They really do enjoy being on the go. They enjoy exploring new things, learning about new things, like trying things out. There's something about this person where they're the type of person that will try anything at least once. I think that's absolutely coming through here. Like, this is somebody who's going to try something at least once. This is somebody who has a little bit of like a daredevil inside of them. At the same time, we do have the balance card here, so this does even out this person's energy a bit. I do think that this is somebody that can be impulsive, can be very adventurous, but at the same time, they know how to ground themselves. They know when to allow that adventurous side out, if you will. This is somebody who is very like enthusiastic, very optimistic. I do think this person can be very outgoing, very extroverted for many of you, though for some of you this could be an introvert, but like they definitely have this very curious energy to them. I also think that this is someone who really enjoys experimenting and experiencing new things. Again, not only like not only with what they are doing, but what they are learning about, what they are experimenting with, what they are experiencing in their life. Like, this is somebody who is very curious. This is also someone who is very self aware and they know themselves quite well. I do think that this is somebody who can be very realistic about who they are, what they are, and this is somebody who can be very realistic about like what are their strengths and even weaknesses. So I don't think that this is somebody who is unaware of the things that they may need to work on or the things that they may want to improve upon. Like, this feels like somebody who is very self-aware, very knowledgeable when it comes to self. I do also think that this is somebody that is very good at reading people and energies in general. This feels like somebody who is very tuned in, very much able to detect when someone is not being honest with them, when someone is playing games with them. And that's something that this person is not going to really put up with. I do think that this is somebody who is very honest and upfront. I will say at times this person can be a bit blunt and they're going to say what's on their mind. And sometimes they may say it in a way that they're not necessarily thinking about what they're saying, but you can expect honesty from this person. I also do think this person has a very fiery type of energy to them. Again, they're very on the go. They're ready for adventure. They're able to jump on opportunities as they show up. This feels like somebody who would go like skydiving and it's no big deal to them. This feels like somebody who would get into like more extreme sports just to try it out and just to have fun and see what it's like. But I also think that this person does have a rich inner world. And I do think this is somebody that can be very responsible, though at times they can be a bit impulsive. There's something very restless about their energy. Like they have to be doing something. For some, this could be somebody that maybe like neurodivergent is coming through as well. Like they have a lot of energy. They need to really channel that energy. And I do think for many, the way that they channel this energy is through like sports or through some form of like body movement. For others, this person does have like a very talkative type of energy. Like they could be somebody who really enjoys talking and expressing themselves. And I do think that this is also someone that is very good at finding solutions. That's coming through. This is somebody who is going to be very good at figuring out like how to solve a problem. Their energy is a little bit scattered. I do absolutely think that this person, when it's time to focus, they need to kind of really try and ground themselves and focus in, because sometimes their energy can be a bit scattered. But once they lock in, once they focus, they get things done. I will also say sometimes this person will take on a hobby or a project and they realize it's not for them, and they may kind of have some unfinished projects or interests that they kind of go all in, and then next thing you know, they realize it's not for them. But I do think they're very responsible when it comes to work. All right, pile number 2, let's take a look at how you will recognize this person. And one thing that I want to mention is with my intention with this reading is This is your next romantic date. This could be somebody that you already know. This could be a first date. This could be somebody that you're in a connection with. So take the information as it resonates. This is how you'll recognize them. So physical traits, their aura, anything that wants to come through about this person. For my pile number 2s, how will my pile number 2s recognize this date? And this is the Clueless Tarot deck that I am using for this portion. I'm going to move that slightly over there. Bottom of the deck, the Queen of Wands. We have the Death card. We also have the Emperor. And the King of Wands. So as far as how you are going to recognize this person as your next date, you're going to know who they are based on how they show up. This is somebody that is very confident. This is somebody that is very passionate. This is someone, like, this person's energy is very, how do I want to say this? This person's energy is someone that you are going to recognize based on just the fact of how they show up. This is somebody who stands out to you. This is somebody that you're going to notice immediately, somebody that you are going to be able to almost like tell apart from other people in your life. This person has a very very eclectic type of energy. There's something about them that isn't like anyone else you know. There's something about them that is very, 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 very interesting. That's how this is coming through. Like, their energy is going to be super, super interesting to you. I also do think for some of you, this person is going to be like a divine counterpart. It could even be a twin flame. We have the Queen of Wands. We have the King of Wands. So there is that level of, for some of you, recognition. For others of you, I do think that you're going to have similarities with this person that you're going to share, that you're going to recognize in them, if that makes sense. I want to see what's underneath here. The Four of Wands. Yeah, they're going to absolutely, like, they're going to grab your attention. And it's all about their energy, their aura, how they carry themselves, that they're going to, like, really grab your attention. Pile number 2, intuitively, you're going to be able to recognize this person. I want to bring out some physical traits here as well. So because this is a general reading, not every single one of these cards is going to resonate with you. Take the ones that resonate, leave the others behind. But we're just going to ask for any additional confirmation. I do think that this is somebody that is going to be very attractive to you. Not only physically, but I think that the way that this person like moves, the way that this person looks, the way that this person like talks, there's something very attractive that you're going to find about them. But let's see what else we have here. So we have short nose. So this is somebody that may have a short nose. We also have plus size. So for some of you, this person is going to be plus size. Take it as it resonates. We also have straight hair, wavy hair. As you see, not everything is going to resonate for everyone. Thin eyebrows and tattoos. So take these as confirmation if you know who this person is. If you don't know who this person is, just keep this in mind. If some of this sounds like something that you would be into, take that as confirmation. If some of this is not what you would be into, just remember not everything is meant for everyone. And let's look at the setting of the date. So where or how? So when it comes to my pile number 2's next date, tell me more information about the setting, the where, and or how. What is this date going to be? What is the setting of this date for my pile number 2's? All right. I know it's this one. I'll take them. I'll take both. But it's also this card. Bottom of the deck, pile number 2, we have the Star card. Let's see what else we have. So we have the 7 of Wands. We have the 10 of Swords. The Knight of Wands. The Ace of Swords. And the 8 of Swords. So pile number 2, this to me feels like it's going to be a very low-key type of date. This feels like a nighttime type of date that's coming through. Like, I do feel like the setting, it's going to be night. It may be like a nicely dark lit romantic restaurant. It may be something that you do at nighttime. This doesn't feel like a super active date. This feels like the main purpose or the main focus of this date seems to be communication, getting to know one another, being able to talk. I do think this is a date where there's a level of you both showing up and being a bit cautious. So if this is somebody that you know, it could be that you have something important to talk about, or it could be that this is a date where the main focus is like either hashing something out, getting to talk about something, getting to explore something very specific. For those of you that don't know who this is, and this is like a first date type of situation, it feels like there's going to be a little bit of nerves. So it feels like when it comes to the setting of the date, as far as like the where or the how, you both plan something that is more low key, something that allows you to talk to each other, something that allows you to explore one another, especially when it comes to like just communicating, talking, getting to know one another. This feels like a date where if you're having dinner, it's with the purpose of like really getting to know one another. This feels like it could be a date where maybe if it's not dinner, it's like, let's go to a show. Though I do feel like for most of you, it's not going to be some sort of show, because there's an emphasis here on talking, getting to know one another, and spending time being able to communicate. I do think there's a big focus for both of you of like just really getting to know one another, and not just doing what is usually done in a date. Like, this doesn't feel like dinner and a movie. This may be like dinner. Or this feels like, let's go do something where we can talk, where we can get to know one another. And for some of you, if you know this person, as I said, it does feel like there is a purpose to this. Like, there's something that you want to get to talk about, something that you want to clear the air on, that is absolutely coming through here. But at the same time, you both are going in with like an open heart and a lot of curiosity as far as where you are going. For some of you, this is going to be like a late night type of date. Maybe it's like, let's go for drinks. Like, let's go grab a drink. This doesn't feel like a coffee date. This feels like, let's go either to dinner or some sort of like bar or some sort of establishment where you can get a drink and you can talk. For some of you, there may be light music playing in the background. I'm not getting like heavy like club type vibes, but it could be like a lounge, like a low key type of club energy or like lounge energy. I'm not getting like super loud, super intense club vibes here. All right, pile number 2, let's talk about the vibe. So the overall energy and mood of the date. What is the vibe for this date? For my pile number 2s, what is the overall energy and mood of the date? We're going to get as much information for you as possible. Pile number 2. Bottom of the deck, what do we have? We have the 3 of Wands. We have the 10 of Pentacles. The 8 of Cups. And the Devil card. Pile number 2, for many of you, you've already either been seeing this person, you know who this person is, and this feels like an important conversation, an important step as far as the relationship goes, an important like forward movement as far as the connection goes. That's coming through. So I'm going to kind of split this message into two. For those of you where this is a completely new energy, like this is somebody that is like still new to you or brand new to you, meaning like first date, or like you're still in the first dating stages, and this could be like a second or third date maybe. It feels like the overall vibe of this date is we are being intentional, right? Like we are trying to figure out, is this a good match? Where do we go from here? Do we want to keep going with this? I do think it's lighthearted, but at the same time, I do think this has like almost like interview vibes of, I just want to get to the bottom and figure out, like, I'm not wasting my time. That's the energy coming through here. Like, I'm not wasting my time. I am not going to waste my energy. I need to figure out if this is in alignment with me, with what I want and where I want to be. I also do think that this is a date where the overall vibe, the overall energy is one of like, again, it's almost giving a little bit of like interview vibes, not in a way that it's like super serious or it feels super heavy, but in the sense of like, I know what I am looking for. I know what I am here to do. And I'm kind of just trying to move through the motions. And yes, I'm being present. Yes, I'm enjoying myself, but also I'm not going to waste time where time is of the essence and when I know what I want and desire. So that's absolutely something that is coming through here very loudly, very clearly. Let me see what else we have here. We have the star there again. So yeah, there is that desire, there is that like goal and that wish, that dream, that like end goal that is, or end game that you want. And this is for both of you. So if this is somebody that is completely new to you, it does feel like, you know, let's go in, let's see what's going on, and let's see where do we go from here. For those of you that may already know who this person is, and for those of you who like there's some sort of conversation that you are having, I do think this is exactly what this is going to be. This is going to be a date where the main focus is, let's put some things on the table and let's figure out, where do we go from here. Let's figure out next steps and let's figure out, where are we moving from here. Do we want to continue? What do we want to do? Or what needs to be dealt with? I do think this date has a very, I think this date, regardless of where you are at, whether you know this person or this is somebody that is brand new to you, or this is somebody that you're kind of just starting out with, or this is somebody that you've established something with, it feels like the best way to describe the mood or the vibe or the energy is intentional. There is something very intentional about this. That's not to say that you are both not going to enjoy the date, but that is to say, like, there is a purpose, almost like, even though I'm here, even though I'm going to have a good time and I'm going to be present, there's still some sort of purpose to this. And I do think that for some of you, that purpose is, I want to figure out if this is going to mesh well, if this is going to fall into place and align with what I want overall. All right, let's take a look at your energy during this date. So for my pile number 2s, what is my pile number 2's energy during this date? And what we are looking for, pile number 2, is how you'll show up, or the version of you that is going to show up at this date. Let's take a look. Bottom of the deck, we have the 6 of Cups, the 3 of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Cups. All right, I'm going to share something else that's coming through. Take this scenario only if it resonates with you. For some of you, pile number 2, this is somebody that you have history with, and you are both meeting up to figure out what happens from here. This could be someone that you have recently ended things with, or maybe you are still with this person, or maybe this is somebody that you are, kind of like never really took off, but you're trying to figure out what the case is. For some of you, this could even be a person that was a friend and now they're trying to, or you're both trying to take things to a different level, if you will. That's not going to resonate for all of you. For some of you, this is like a first time situation, but let's talk to those people first. So for those people that you know this person, there's some history here, or this is somebody that you are currently with, I do think that you're showing up to this date with a lot of expectations in the sense of what you are going to figure out, what you are going to accomplish during this date. I also do think that you are both, and we are going to look at this person's energy next, but I do think that you are both showing up very prepared with what you want to accomplish, with what you want to say, with what you want to communicate during this date. I also do think there is a level of open-hearted energy and like goodwill that you are bringing to this date. For those of you where this is a first date, where this is a like just I'm beginning to know someone, or this is very early on in a connection, it's very similar energy. I do think that you are showing up, putting your best foot forward and hoping for the best as far as like where does this go from here. But again, this is a date where there is a purpose behind this date, and there's a very intentional energy that is playing out throughout this date. I do think that even though there is an expectation here of like, I want to figure out where I go from here, whether I like this person or whether maybe this is not like what I want, there is a level of like, I am here to figure something out very specific. And your energy is very friendly, very open, very just available. And I do think that you are going to be very open and very available to this person. And see the Knight of Swords. I do think, and that Eight of Pentacles, like it feels like this is one of those like, what happens from here? Like, I don't know that either of you know after this date what is going on. And I do think that you are looking at this as far as like, what do I do now? So overall, your energy is very open and you want the best out of like the best possible outcome out of this date, but you're also in a place of like being present in the present moment and seeing what goes on. But I do think for those of you that you have history with this person, there's a lot of history here. For those of you that do have history, this could be somebody that was an ex. This could be somebody that like maybe, things just didn't take off the way that you wanted them to. For some of you, this could be a friend that you may be like exploring more with. And I think for this pile, for the grand majority of this pile, I do think that whoever it is that you're going out on a date with next, you have some sort of history or some sort of connection to this person already. Pile number 2, let's take a look at what is their energy during the date. So how they'll act or present themselves during this date. And I will say you did pick the Lovers card from the Clueless, so Josh and Cher, and they do have, I just watched that not long ago, and I'm not gonna lie, that was weird watching that they were, they were siblings in a way. I know they weren't actually siblings, but anyways, that's not why we're here. All right, pile number 2, let's take a look at their energy during the date. So they're very hopeful. They are very hopeful. They are like very, they're feeling very open, very hopeful, very optimistic during this date. We also have Temperance. We have the Empress. And we have the Tower. They're hoping that this date leads to change. They're absolutely hoping that this date leads to change. And they are showing up very intentionally. They're showing up as the best version of themselves. The more this reading goes, the more I think many of you know who this person is. Definitely let me know in the comments. I love some tea. Let me know what's going on here. Obviously you don't have to put all of your business out there, but let me know, do you know this person, pile number 2? Because the more this unravels, the more this feels like you know who this is, because they're coming in very cautious. They're coming in, it's almost like they're stepping on a minefield, right? Like they're coming in with caution. They're coming in very optimistic, very hopeful, but at the same time, what they want is change. What they are expecting, what they are hoping for is change. And I think there's an understanding, especially on their side, that this could change their world. This could change their life in some way going forward. And this is this is very big emotions on their side. This is like very big high stakes, very big emotions on their side. We see that star, we see Temperance, we see the Empress, and we see Tower. So all 4 of these cards showing up as major arcana, that's coming through. Like there's definitely a level of pressure, there's a level of high stakes for this person, and they're trying to come in and show up as very confident, as very well put together, but I think underneath the surface there's a lot of nerves, there's a lot of just like trying to remain present, trying to remain grounded. Like it feels like their energy is way more invested, or at the very least what can happen here feels like it's scarier for them in a way, or again, the high stakes are on their end. So it does feel like pile number 2, the ball is in your court. Like you're going to be the one making choices. And I also think for you, you are more detached than this person. Let's take a look. So let's see first impressions. And I'm going to say here what I said to the last group. When I wrote about first impressions, I do realize that for many of you, you are going to know who this person is because we're just looking at your next date. We're not necessarily looking at like, a first date with someone. So first impressions is meant to give us information as to what you'll notice or feel like the first impression during the date itself. Let's take a look here. For my pile number 2s, what are the first impressions for my pile number 2s? And this is on both sides. This is going to be, did I just drop them? Yes, I did. I will pick those up momentarily. This is going to be first impressions on both of your ends. And we have the 4 of Cups. We have the Justice card. And we have the 8 of Wands. Very interesting. So I actually do want to show what's at the bottom of the deck there. The 2 of Swords. There's a level of being unsure here. That's absolutely coming through. Emotionally, there's a lot that is coming up. There's a lot that's like, there's a lot of emotional undercurrents. I do think you're both going to try to read one another, but I don't think you're going to get too much of a good read on what is going on with another person. Pile number 2, the more I go through this reading, the more convinced I am that this is somebody that you know, that this is somebody that there is some sort of connection already established here. And for some of you, this could be somebody that you've been no contact with for a while, or this could be somebody that you have something, like there's some things that need to be dealt with. There's some things that need to be kind of worked through is what's coming through. Because as far as first impressions for the both of you, I do think there's a little bit of like poker faces going into this. I also do think that there is going to be a level of like not really knowing what's truly going on with the other person. And I think that for my pile number 2s, I think this is you. You're going to really be wearing a poker face. Like, I don't think you want to let on too much up to what's going on here. For those of you that this is a first date, I think it's a little bit similar where it's like it's going to be hard for you both to get a good read on one another. I do think there is a level of nerves. But I think for the vast majority of you, you have some sort of history with this person. You have some sort of like pre-established connection to this person. Pile number 2, give me a moment. Let me pick up all the cards I dropped. And just so you know, this is why I didn't include everything I dropped into this portion of the reading, because I honestly dropped like half the deck. Let's move on. Let's look at conversation and connection, because I'm trying to get more information for you. And there's a lot that isn't super clear, so let's try to get more information. So as far as the conversation and connection, what are you talking about in this date, and how deep does this emotional connection go? What is the conversation and connection here exactly? Let's see, pile number 2. So we have the Ace of Cups. Feelings are definitely going to be discussed here. We also have the 8 of Pentacles. The 6 of Swords. Yeah, this is and the Chariot. For many of you, this conversation, regardless of how it plays out, right? Because it's a general reading, so it's going to be different things for different people. Regardless of how this plays out, the main purpose of the conversation or the main focus of the conversation is, where do we go from here? And I do think part of this involves like, let's discuss feelings. Let's discuss, where am I at? Where are you at? What's going on? But I also think that this is really about figuring out next steps. We do have the 6 of Swords, which is a card of transitions. It's a card that says, I am leaving drama behind and I am moving forward. So for some of you, this could be like about getting closure. For others of you, this is, do we want to move forward? For others of you, it's, do we want to get back together? For others of you, this could be a conversation about just like grounding in and focusing on what has happened and what will happen. What do we want? And with the Chariot here, the Chariot says, who am I becoming? Where am I going? And I think that's a big part of this conversation is, where am I going to go? Who am I going to become? And where does that leave us? Where are we going? What are we becoming? How do we move forward from here? Pile number 2, the more I answer questions in this reading, the more convinced I am that for most of you, this is somebody that you know. And if this is somebody that's completely new to you, I will say this almost feels like, I said this at the beginning or towards the beginning, this almost feels like an interview style type of date of like, let's just figure this. This is a no BS, like, let's figure this out. And that's not to say that you're not going to have fun, that you're not going to enjoy each other's company, but they're like, this is very, very intentional. And I think both people are going in with a lot of intention to this. But I think for the vast majority of you, you know who this is. And there's a lot more at stake than just getting to know someone for the first time. I keep doing this. The Page of Cups. Yeah, like there's a lot of feelings here. And we have the Hanged Man. For some of you, this is somebody that you have history with. And what is being figured out is, all right, from here, where do we go? Let's take a look at romantic chemistry. So for my pile number 2s, what is the spark, the tension, the physical or energetic attraction here between my pile number 2s and their person? I'll take them. You know what? They want to come out together. We will take them. We have that Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck there. We also have the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Swords. We have the Knight of Pentacles and the 2 of Wands. There's a lot of caution here. There's a lot of let me be careful. I do think that there are feelings here, or there were feelings here for some of you. Take that as it resonates. I also do think that there's a level of I need to protect myself. I need to be cautious. I'm not fully like this is the energy of someone who would have their guard up. This doesn't feel like somebody who is approaching this with like a fully open heart and like just with their guard down. Even though I do think the intentions are good for both of you, even though I do think both of you want to figure out the next steps, I also think that there are very very clear protections set around the heart area. Like I am going to go into this with the best of intentions. I'm going to go into this with an open mind and open heart. But even on a subconscious level, there is still like, let me protect my heart. I do think that for many of you, there are some level of feelings that are already established here. But I also think that when it comes to romance, what you are both figuring out, but especially you, my viewer, is where do I stand with this? Where do I go from here? So there's definitely a wall up. There's definitely a lot of like, let me be careful. And you're trying to figure out what the next steps are, what the right next step for you is as far as the connection, as far as the relationship. Let's take a look at the aftermath. Pile number 2, this is an interesting one because when I did this, I thought we were going to get like mostly first dates or like super like energetic and fun first dates or something along those lines. And this one feels like it's quite serious. It's not what I was expecting. So let's see the aftermath. So how will you feel once the date is over, or what happens next? What happens from here? For my pile number 2s, what goes on from here? What is the aftermath? We have the Wheel of Fortune. There's definitely change as a result of this. We also have the 7 of Cups, the Star card again, and the Hanged Man. Pile number 2, regardless of what happens here, because I think the outcome is going to be different for different people. I will also say, I think for my pile number 2s, the ball is in your court. You get to choose, you get to decide. And if there is history here, I think the other person knows that. The other person knows that the ball is in your court, and they know that it's going to be up to you, because I think that this is the person that is pursuing you. I think that this person is like way more invested than you, in the sense of like they may have done something, or they may have been the ones to like initiate something that caused this date to be the thing. Or maybe you were the one to initiate it, but it feels like the ball is mainly in my pile number 2's court. So as far as the aftermath, I do think that there is going to be healing here. I do think that there are going to be options here. What you choose, pile number 2, is going to be completely up to you. I do think for some of you, you choose to move on with this and you choose where you both go from here. For others of you, you may choose to walk away from this. And I think for a good amount of you, you're going to choose to take your time to decide what the next steps are. But it feels like the ball is going to be in the court of the person watching this, not necessarily the other person. And you're going to have options regardless of what happens here, though. You're going to move forward with more confidence. You're going to move forward with more clarity. For some of you, you are going to get closure. For others of you, you are going to be able to have a brand new beginning, whether it's with this person or without this person. It's going to be up to you what you choose. But pile number 2, you have the options, you have the choice, and what you decide is going to be completely up to you. The 5 of Pentacles. Some of you are going to decide to walk away. Others of you are going to decide to stick this out in some way. So for those of you where this is a first date, this could just be a date that like doesn't really go like it may go well, because I don't think there's anything that happens in this date that's terrible, but maybe it's just like we realize that we're not right for one another. But I think for like 98-99% of you, there's history here. Let's see what your advice is. So we're going to get guidance from the universe. So this is advice about being open, confident, or prepared for this opportunity. So what is the advice for my viewer? For my pile number 2s, what is the advice for my viewer? Let's see, pile number 2. I'm very curious. Bottom of the deck, we have the 6 of Pentacles, the Magician, the World card, and the 2 of Pentacles. Pile number 2, the ball is in your court. What you need to know going into this is that you are the one in control. You are the one that gets to choose how you move forward, that you get to create whatever it is that you want. For some of you, what you will choose and what you will do is you're going to wrap up a cycle. For others of you, this is about you opening up a brand new cycle. Regardless of where you are at, as far as like your specific situation, I do think that what you need to know is that this next date is going to set the wheels in motion for you getting to the next stage of your romantic dating experience or life. Like that is absolutely coming through. Yeah, the 9 of Cups. And you will find success in dating, even if it's not in this specific next date. So it almost feels like regardless of what happens here, this is like, even if this date isn't a success, what you're going to find is that this is going to put you on the path of what you do want, what you are meant to receive. And if this date is a success, it's going to put you on that path because you're going to be able to continue to explore this. But trust that this is going to be an experience that's going to help you regardless of the outcome. I'm very curious to see what we have as far as oracle cards. Let's take a look. So first, we have true love. This love is emotional, physical, and unconditional. Very interesting. Longing. Someone is secretly yearning for you. For those of you that have history with this person, they're definitely yearning. They're definitely longing. They're thinking about you. That's why I think for my pile number 2s, the ball is in your court. Like you are the one that's going to have a choice. You're the one that's going to have the final say in this. Then we have awakening. Someone is undergoing a spiritual transformation. Let's see what else we have. So we have kite, situation, blowing in, fragile, pretty, tangled, reminders. Yeah, there's some history here for many of you. Someone is blowing back in and someone is coming in with an offer. And that's the thing, pile number 2. For those of you that have history with this person, I think they're coming in with an offer. And I think it's going to be up to you to decide what you want to do with that offer. Then we have turtle, peace, resolution, protection, fertility, persistence, determination, patience, pace yourself, taking life slow, feel at home anywhere, emotional strength, remain true to your path. I will say there is a resolution here. Regardless of where you fall on as far as what this date is, what it represents for you, there is going to be a resolution here. And then we have bees, hardworking person, fertilization, life-sustaining, sting, sweet situation, growth, seeking, provider, fearless, respected. Wow, I just noticed there's a bee there, there's a bee here. Okay. Yeah, this person, actually, forget this person. Regardless of what's going on here, pile number 2, you are going to experience significant growth from this situation. Let's see what other advice we have here. So we have curiosity. Meeting new people, I remember what a treasure trove of opinions, interests, and stories they are. But these treasures will only be unlocked if I embrace my curiosity. So I'll be curious and you be interesting. Deal? So remain open, remain curious. And open-heartedness. I know that life and the people living it can be an absolute bummer sometimes, but I promise not to let unhappy chapters make me jaded. If I let negative experiences turn me sour, then the jerks win. So I'll move on with an open and hopeful heart, if only because I hate losing to jerks. And I do think that in a very interesting way, regardless of how this plays out specifically for you, because again, general reading, different situations, different ways the energy can play out, this is going to help you open your heart in a way. Let's see, final card, what do we have here? Passion. Rise, passion, rise up high, inflame my purpose, reach the sky. Pile number 2, that is what I have for you. Pile number 2, your affirmation for the week: I open my heart to passion and opportunities. I open my heart to passion and opportunities. Claim it in the comments section. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. Also, I will post the poll for the next reading every single Monday. That is when the poll goes up. So make sure that you keep an eye out because you get to decide what we do next. Drop any suggestions in the comments. I know I just said that, but drop any suggestions in the comments. I do keep a running list. There will also be an extra reading spread out throughout the month. The next one is going to be about spiritual gifts, I guess I should say. And yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Lovers card from the Nightmare Before Christmas, and this is with Jack and Sally. So as a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, as always, I did do a reading breakdown, which is time-stamped below. It's going to tell you exactly what is going to be covered in this reading and the format it will be covered in. So I highly, highly suggest that you check that out. So for this reading, we are going to start by looking at who is the person that you are going to be going on this date with. As a reminder, if this doesn't sound like somebody that you would date, if this doesn't sound like somebody that you would be interested in, this is not your reading. Try choosing a different pile, or it could be that this specific reading has no message for you, so keep that in mind. Let's see, what do we have here? So we have the horse. We have the bat. We have limitless. Okay, so we have the horse and we have a unicorn. Very interesting. And we have the hunter. Outdoorsy and primal, enjoys the chase, maybe a little too much. All right, let's take a look at who this person is. So to get started, I am going to talk about the zodiac signs that are on these 2 cards, and it's based on the element that is up there. So for the horse, we have Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. For the bat, we have air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Take that if it resonates, or take it as it resonates. But let's talk about who this person is. So pile number 3. This is someone that is very free-spirited. This is someone that is very, I think this is somebody who's very goal-oriented. But this is also the type of person that has never really met a wall that they cannot climb. This is the type of person that is not very easily limited, no matter what is going on in their life. Like, this is someone who is always up to the challenge. This is someone who is always going to build momentum and get to where they want to be. This is someone that is not easily held back. This is someone that can really achieve just about anything. And I do think that with the horse, the hunter, and the limitless card, that message is being amplified here. Like, this is someone who is always going to find a way. Even when it seems impossible, this person is going to find a way, a path forward. This is somebody who doesn't give up easily, if at all. Like, this is somebody that may realize that something isn't worth the effort, but if they give up on something, if they walk away from something, it's because it's on their terms, not because it's hard, not because it's giving them trouble, or because they ran into obstacles. Um this is someone who is very energetic. This is someone who is very focused. I do think that this is the type of person that is going to set their eyes on a goal, on some form of outcome, and they are going to make sure they create exactly that. This is also somebody who is very intuitive. I do believe for many of you, this person is going to be more on the spiritual side. That's absolutely coming through here. I also think that this is someone who is very in tune with the universe itself. So this is somebody who knows how to take advantage of opportunities because they're really able to almost like ride the waves of the universe, ride the waves of the opportunities that are presented to them. There is something very practical about this person as well. Like, I do think that even though they believe in themselves, even though they work very hard, and they are almost limitless in many ways, there's also something very practical about their approach, about how they approach their life and what they are creating, what they are manifesting. I also do think that this is somebody who is very practical when it comes to love and relationships as well. This is someone that is not afraid to let go or walk away from situations that are very I want to say almost like toxic to them, or something that isn't right for them. This person is going to walk away. And this is someone who is very adaptable. Someone who, again, this person knows how to flow. This person knows how to go with the flow. This is not somebody who's going to run away. This is somebody who's going to face any issues head on. And I do think that this person's communication style is also very like head on. Let's talk about it. Let's like squash whatever needs to be squashed. Let's deal with whatever comes up. I do think this person is very intuitive as well. This person has a very active third eye chakra. There's something very strong about this person, but at the same time, this is somebody that is very sensitive, very, I would say this is somebody who's very caring, especially when they are in a relationship. This is someone who is very much going to care for and be there for their partner. This is also somebody who is very loyal, very honest. I do think for many of you, this is going to be somebody that has some sort of meditative practice or something where they can kind of ground themselves and bring themselves back to center. I also think this person has a quiet strength to them. This isn't somebody who is overtly loud. This isn't somebody who is in your face, but they still command the room. They're still able to really, feel confident in whatever situation they are in. But I do think this is somebody who's more on the quiet side, more on the introverted side. This person could be a little bit of a night owl that's coming through. Take that as it resonates. And this person is very future focused. So this is somebody who doesn't really think about the past too much. Like, this is somebody who knows how to wrap something up and say, it didn't work out for a reason. Let me move on. But I do think this is somebody who is very future focused. So they have a very clear idea, clear picture of what they are going to do in the future and who they want to be in the future. All right, pile number 3, let's talk about how you'll recognize them. So I'm going to share what I shared with the other piles, and that is, this is a reading that is meant to give you information about the date itself. For some of you, this may be a first date. For others of you, this is a date with someone you already know, someone you are already established with. So we're looking at how you'll recognize this person and take it as it resonates for you. Also, for this group, I will be using the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck. So we're going to look at physical traits, aura. How will you recognize this date? How will you recognize this person? For my pile number threes, how are my pile number threes going to recognize this person coming in, this next date for them? Bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Candles or the Five of Wands. We also have the Nine of Wands, the Page of Presents or the Page of Pentacles, and the Seven of Presents, the Seven of Pentacles. I do think that as far as how you are going to recognize this person, part of this has to do with this is someone, I think for many of you, this person is going to pursue you for, like, they're really going to be very intentional about their pursuit of you. I do think we also have that Knight of Candles there. So I do think this person is going to be very insistent, very intentional. They are going to make it known what they are looking for, what they are desiring, and that you are what they are interested in. I also do think that there is going to be a recognition of just that there is a spark here, that there is potential here for both of you. I do think there is a lot of interest here. And I do think for some of you, when this date happens, you've been either talking to them for a little bit. Like, this doesn't feel like you talk for one day or you meet for one day and then the next day you go on a date. This feels like you do talk, like maybe it's like a few days, a week, or like you get to know each other somewhat before you go on this actual date. For some of you, you may meet this person like through a dating app or online. For others of you, you meet them, but like you still spend your time getting to know each other before you take it to that level of like, let's actually meet up, let's go on this date. And it could be that, you know, they're busy, you're busy. It could be just preference that's coming through. So take that as it resonates, but you're going to know it's them because they're going to pursue you, because they're going to tell you that they're interested. They're going to show you that they're interested. And I do also think that you're going to know it's them based on your own interest. Like, this feels like both of you are really intentional about setting up this date and getting to know each other. Yeah, that Knight of Candles, so that Knight of Wands. Let's take a look at some physical attributes. So for this portion, take what resonates. It's a general reading. Not everything is going to resonate for everyone, so only take the physical attributes that would make sense for your situation or for you. For my pile number threes, what is something that their date may have physically that they can be aware of, or that would confirm that that is their date? And again, only take the ones that resonate for you. Bottom of the deck, we have slim build. We also have thick eyebrows. We have curly hair. Thin eyebrows. See, not everything is going to be for everyone. Take the ones that resonate for you. Bald. Somebody here may be bald. In the comments, I don't want any bald comments. I'm just kidding. But be nice. I know sometimes that one gets a reaction, but listen, I've seen some guys that are bald and they, or women or whoever, people, and they pull it off incredibly. So keep that in mind. And then we have red hair here. All right. So those are some physical attributes. I actually want to lift this up for some reason. Light skin is also coming through. I am going to remove this from here just because YouTube may have an issue with the image. So we're going to put that off to the side. But let's start. Let's keep going. So we're going to look at the setting of the date. So where or how? What is the setting of this date for my pile number threes? That was a terrible shuffle. We're going to do that again. Pile number three. So for my pile number threes, where or how? Give me more information as to the setting of this date for my pile number threes. Where or how, or where and how, maybe. Anything and everything that wants to come through. Bottom of the deck, what do we have? The Seven of Potions or the Seven of Cups. We also have the Justice card here. We have the Devil card here. And we also have the Knight of Candles or the Knight of Wands here. So pile number three, I do think this is going to be a very exciting date. For some of you, this is like bar, club, like let's go to a show, let's go to a sporting event, let's go to a festival, let's go to maybe, I don't know why I just heard pumpkin patch. I mean, listen, it is Nightmare Before Christmas themed, so that would make sense why I'm seeing pumpkins. But this feels very active. This feels very exciting. This feels very like, let's do something active. This is a date where there is a lot of movement. There's a lot of like just enjoying yourselves. There's other people around. This feels like in a very public space. For some of you, you are going to be catching a show of some sort. It could be a comedy show as well. I do think for some of you, there's going to be kind of a 2-event or a 2-part date here where you may go and do something active. You may also like enjoy a show. For this group, I really feel like a show, dancing, something where it's not like active in the sports sense or in like, let's go bowling, but it's active in like, there's movement, there's excitement, there's music. I do think there will be drinks for some of you. Take that as it resonates. If you're not into drinking, that's probably not for you. But this feels like there's excitement here. There is a lot going on of like you both just exploring and having a good time and having like a very extroverted type of date. There's a lot of people around here as well. And I do think that there's going to be options. For some of you, this could be like an amusement park as well. For others of you, maybe this is like a haunted mansion. This could be like an escape room. I don't even know if people are still doing those, but it feels like it's very like interesting. So for somebody here, this could be an arcade. What's really standing out to me, it's like it's very adventurous. There's a lot of music. There's like drinks. If there's food, this doesn't feel like let's have a 5-course meal. This feels more of like, let's have some finger foods. Like, let's go have some funnel cake. Is it too late for the fair? I don't know why that's coming through. Maybe a carnival. I want to see what's underneath here. The 4 of Wands. Yeah, there's like some sort of celebration. There's some sort of movement, music, excitement. This is a fun date. Let's take a look at what else we have here. For my pile number 3s, what's the vibe, the overall energy and mood of this date? For my pile number 3s, what is the vibe? For my pile number 3s, what is the vibe here? What is the overall energy and mood of this date for my pile number 3s? Let's see. Bottom of the deck, let's see what we have. We have the 10 of Candles or the 10 of Wands. This is one of those dates where you're both going to be able to let loose, where I also think, I have to say this because it's showing up here, there's a lot of physical attraction. There's a lot of chemistry. But this feels like one of those dates where it's like, let's let loose, let's have a good time, let's enjoy ourselves. This is also not a very like high stakes or high pressure type of date. Let's see what else we have. We have the 3 of Presents or the 3 of Pentacles. We also have the 9 of Presents or the 9 of Pentacles and the 5 of Presents or the 5 of Pentacles. So pile number 3, when it comes to the vibe of the energy, this is like a very grounded, we are fully present, we are fully here, we are fully enjoying ourselves type of date. I do think that there is as I said, I do feel this is a date where there's a lot of people around you. Whether that is like this is a double date or a group date or like a group thing, I don't think that's going to be the case for many of you, but that could very well be the case. For others of you, this is just like there's other people around, there's like other activities going on, and it's like a very busy type of like I don't want to say chaotic in a bad way, but it just feels like there's a lot going on during this date and around all of like around you. And this is a date where you're both just having a really good time. This is one of those dates where you lose track of time because you're enjoying yourselves, because you're having a good time, because you are exploring what's available. For some of you, this is absolutely like something with music, like maybe you go dancing, maybe you go to a show. This doesn't feel like an opera type of show. This feels like, let's go to a concert, let's go to a music festival. Let's go to like maybe a Halloween thing. As I'm recording this, it's October 10th. So for some of you, this could very well be like, maybe some sort of like Halloween event, though this is a timeless reading, so take it as it resonates. But it just feels like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of fun, and there's an opportunity to just let loose. And there's an opportunity to really enjoy yourselves and be fully present in that moment and enjoy what's going on with each other. And I do think that this is an opportunity, like this is one of those dates where it's like, end of the week, like let's just let loose, let's have a good time. I do feel like this is going to take place over maybe like a weekend, like Friday, Saturday type of date. This also feels like you're able to lose track and kind of get lost in the day together. This is also like a longer type of date. This doesn't feel like it's a one and done, like we did 30 minutes or an hour and then we're going home. This feels like it's a pretty long date. So pile number 3, let's take a look at your energy during this date. So for my pile number 3s, what is my pile number 3's energy during the date? So how will my pile number 3's show up? What is going on with my pile number 3's during this date? And we're going to look at their energy during the date next. All right, let's take a look. Bottom of the deck, we have the King of Needles or the King of Swords. We also have the Three of Candles or the Three of Wands. We have the Empress card. That is a very interesting Empress. And we have the Three of Swords. Very interesting. Also, that is a beautiful card. So pile number 3, when it comes to your energy in this date, I do think that you're going to show up with an open mind. I do think you're going to show up and you're going to be feeling very confident. You are going to be feeling very, I think this person is going to make it known that they like you, that they are very interested in you. For some of you, this is going to be a first date. For others of you, this is a date with somebody that there's kind of some sort of establishment already here. But your overall energy is very open, very adventurous, very spontaneous. I also do think that the Three of Needles or the Three of Swords is here because you are a little bit of like, just trying to protect your heart. That is especially true for those of you where this is a first date or this is like one of those dates that is still very early on in the relationship or in the connection. But we do have the Three of Candles or the Three of Wands and the Empress as well as the King of Swords here. So there is still that excitement, and I do think that this Three of Swords or this Three of Needles is also coming in because this is a date that is kind of the two of you wanting to let loose after a long week, after like a busy week or a hectic week or a hectic date. This feels like this is us coming together knowing that we're going to have a good time, that we're going to enjoy ourselves. And there may be some things leading up to the date that have nothing to do with each other. Like, again, maybe it was a rough day at work or a rough week at work, or maybe, there's some things going on in your personal life. And this is an opportunity for you both to kind of let loose. I do also think that you're coming into this really being observant of your date and how they're showing up and how they're treating you, and like, are their words matching their actions? How are they behaving? So there is a part of you that is really observant. There's another part of you that is just like feeling very confident and just enjoying the moment. We also have the King of Presents or the King of Pentacles. So you are very grounded. You are very present in that moment and really like observing everything, but still enjoying yourself and being fully available and fully in the moment, fully grounded in the present moment. Um and we do have the Three of Wands here. So there is a lot of optimism. There is a lot of just like hope and optimism that things are going to go well and that this is going to be a great date, and you are putting your best foot forward, and you are like very open to again being available and not letting whatever else is going on either that week, that day, or in general permeate the date itself. Like you're not letting that energy into the date. Let's take a look at what is going to be your date's energy during this date. So the person that you are seeing, what is their energy? During this date, what is going on with pile number 3's person? So how are they going to act? How are they going to present themselves during this date? All right, pile number 3, let's take a look. How are they going to act? How are they going to present themselves? Bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Needles or the Seven of Swords. This person is going to be nervous. That's coming through the High Priestess. We have the Four of Candles or the Four of Wands, and we have the Eight of Presents or the Eight of Pentacles. So I do think this person is also going to be very present in the moment. They're going to be really enjoying themselves. I also do think that this person is going to be a little bit in their head. There's a little bit of nerves here. For some of you, this is going to be a first date, or this is going to be very early on in the connection, and they absolutely want to impress you. They want to make sure that you like them, and they may be kind of questioning, like, is pile number 3 enjoying this? What should I do? Am I doing everything that needs to be done? Should I be doing more? Should I be doing less? So I do think to some extent they are going to be a little bit in their head. But I also think that they feel a very strong connection to you. That's why we have that High Priestess coming through here. And we do have that Four of Wands or that Four of Candles. So they are absolutely enjoying themselves, but there is an element of them also being kind of a little bit in their head and trying to be like their best self. And there is a portion of them that is going to be like, you know, what do I need to do next? How do I impress pile number 3? How do I make sure that everything is going perfect and according to plan? So they are going to be a little bit anxious. But I think as the date goes on, they're going to be able to calm themselves and like really be present in the moment and enjoy themselves more. We do have that Two of Candles or that Two of Wands. So they're absolutely going to want to impress you. They're also going to want to kind of show you a side of themselves that they don't necessarily show to just anyone. But I do think this is a date where both of you are up for adventure. Both of you are up for exploration. And when I say that, I just mean like enjoying the moment and trying different things. This doesn't really translate to me as like something like taking it outside of the date. Like this feels like something that is very within the date and it's like in a very public place. So I am not saying that in any sort of like sexual way at all. I want to make that clear. But I also think that this person is going to kind of be in their head as far as where do we go from here? What's possible? Like they're really going to want to read your energy and figure out if you are liking them, if you are enjoying the date, if they are impressing you. I think that's going to be a big part of where their energy is going to be. So they may seem a little bit reserved at first. They may be a little preoccupied with that, especially at first. I think as the date goes on, they are going to be able to be more present and kind of relax into the moment. Let's take a look at what is the first impressions here. So what you'll each notice or feel about the other kind of very early on. So when I say first impression, I don't mean a first impression of when you meet this person if you already know them. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about first impression during the date, like very early on in the date. What's the first impression? For my pile number 3s, what's the first impression here? Let's take a look. Bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Potions or the Eight of Cups. I think you're both going to be very good at reading each other's emotional cues. I also think you're both going to be very good at like making the other comfortable. We also have the Six of Needles or the Six of Swords. We have the Two of Potions or the Two of Cups. And we have the Five of Needles or the Five of Swords. So when it comes to first impressions, it's very sweet because we have the Two of Cups here. And the Two of Cups is a soulmate card. So I do think both of you really see each other as potential, right? Like, depending on where you are at, it could be that you know this is your soulmate, this is your person. For those of you that this is brand new, I do think that what you are seeing in each other is that potential. Like, this could be someone that I see myself exploring deeper with, someone that I see myself getting to know at a deeper rate, at a deeper version, right? Like, we can dive deep into this. Like, there's that potential, there's that excitement, there is chemistry, there is passion here. I do think that this is a group where between you and your date, the physical connection is absolutely there. It's sizzling, it's off the walls for many of you. I also do think that this is a connection where you both feel at ease. So there is that, I think, internal recognition, that soul level recognition of like the potential. For others of you where you've known this person for a while, it could very well be that you know, like, this is my love, this is my soulmate, this is my counterpart, this is my person. But as far as first impressions go, we also have the Eight of Cups here. And with the Eight of Cups, again, I do think that you both go into this date. It could be one or both of you. I do think it's more than likely both of you, where it's been a rough week. It's been a rough day, and you're kind of going into this date to let loose and have a good time and enjoy yourselves. So I do think there is that recognition of like, you both need this. You both need this like time out. You both need to just have a good time and enjoy yourselves. We also have this Six of Needles. So I do think that you both are going to recognize that there's like other things going on, and that this date is an opportunity for you both to just turn the page on the day or on whatever is going on outside of the connection, outside of the date. So this feels like an escape for many of my pile number 3s when this date is taking place. And I do think that that is why this date is planned in such a fun and exciting way. I also think that you guys are really going to be able to read each other's energies and like show up for each other in a very intentional way. Of like, I do think it's going to be a priority. Like, let's make each other laugh. Like, let's make each other just forget about the stressors of life. So this feels like a date that is serving two purposes, right? Like, one, and first and foremost, it's the connection. Like, let's connect, let's get to know each other, let's have a good time together. But also the second purpose of this date is like, let's just like forget about all of the other stressors, and let's just focus on the present moment and on each other. Let's take a look at conversation and connection. So what will you be talking about, and like, what is the emotional connection here? So what are you going to be talking about during this date? Or what is the emotional connection here? Conversation and connection during this date. Tell me more. For my pile number 3s and their date, what is the conversation and connection going on here? Bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Potions or the Ace of Cups. We also have the World card. We have the Knight of Swords. We do have the Queen of Swords. And we have the Hanged Man. So, pile number 3, when it comes to conversation, I do think you're going to be able to talk about everything and anything. I do think a big part of the conversation during this date is going to be like, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Tell me anything and everything, especially about like your day or your week, especially if you resonate with this date happens on or during a time where things may be rough at work, or things may be rough with like a friendship, or just in personal life things are a little bit overwhelming. I do think a big portion of this date and the conversation is going to be you both like listening to one another, and you both allowing each other to like go through and just talk out what's been going on and how you're feeling and what's on your mind. I also think that this is going to be a date where you're going to be able to discuss like what your desires are for the future, especially when it comes to a relationship. I think for some of you, there may be even deeper conversations of like, what do I think about the future? What do I think about life itself? What are my beliefs in life? I do think some of you are going to reach those topics, but this feels like this is the type of conversation that you kind of reach later on as like you start to wind down, because I do think that this is going to be a very like active date where there's a lot of fun. So it starts out pretty lighthearted and it kind of goes into deeper topics of conversations. For some of you, you are going to spend time with this person after like that main event. For others of you, it's like, they're walking you to your car, you're walking to the car together, however you get there, or you're going to go take the transportation or waiting for the Uber, whatever it is for you. And you're having those conversations like after the fact as well. Because this feels like a very like busy time, and then it kind of leads into as it slows down, as the date comes to an end, you are then able to kind of connect more and talk more. One thing that's coming through, and I want to share it, take it as it resonates, is for some of you, this person is going to be like really hands-on, especially as far as like they want to comfort you. They may hold your hand, they may like put their arm around you. I think you'll be doing the same thing. So for some of you, I do think there's going to be a lot of physical touch, not in any weird sort of way, or not in a way that would make you uncomfortable, but I do think there is going to be a level of like physical touch and connection between the two of you that feels very comfortable and that feels very natural as well. Like it doesn't feel weird. It doesn't come across as creepy or anything. It's very much desired and well received. I also do think you're going to talk about like just what makes you happy, and you're going to be able to bond over, for some of you, over some interests, like some hobbies. For those of you that are going to be going to like a place with music, I think you're really going to enjoy talking about like the band or the musicians, or like what you like when it comes to music. Someone here could be a musician yourself, or your date is. Someone here is going to karaoke. That's what it is. Take that as it resonates. So for my pile number 3s, what is the romantic chemistry here? What is the spark, the tension, or the physical or energetic attraction? What is the romantic chemistry between you and this person? Bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Needles, or the Two of Swords. We also have the King of Pentacles. We have the King of Wands. We have the Magician, and we have the Two of Presents, or the Two of Pentacles. So pile number 3, when it comes to the romantic chemistry, I do think there is a spark here. I do also think that you both are going to be playing it a little bit coy, especially if this is like a first date or a date that is earlier on. Even though I do think there's going to be a lot of like flirting, a lot of like light touching, a lot of just physical touch for this group, and like a lot of just fun and adventure and spontaneity. I also do think that when it comes to the emotions, you both are going to play a little bit on the safer side, not to say that you are not going to express that you're interested or you're going to let the other person know that you're interested, because I do think that's absolutely coming through. But I also think that you are going to be a little bit of, especially for my viewer, it does feel like you're like very observant. You're trying to figure out exactly how you are feeling, how you want to approach this. But as far as the romantic chemistry, there's a lot of potential here. I do also think that you both are very like grounded and practical about how you approach this. So if you are somebody that you know you want to kind of wait and take things slow, that's going to be at the forefront here. That's going to be very intentional on your side, their side, or both sides. I think there's going to be so much flirting, but there's also a lot of like a lot that's being left, a lot of desire here, and a lot of flirting. But this doesn't feel like a date that ends up necessarily like going any further than maybe a kiss and like hugging or holding hands. This is like a PG date. That's how I'm going to describe this. But the romantic chemistry is absolutely there. We have the Queen of Candles and the King of Potions and the King of Presents. So, King of Cups, yeah, there's definitely romantic interest here. There is a lot of attraction. There's a lot of chemistry, but there's a lot of flirting and a lot of like build up. But again, the date itself feels very PG. It doesn't feel like it's one of those dates where it ends in intimacy. Unless you've known this person, then I can absolutely see that being the case. There's a lot of potential here though, and you both feel that. That's absolutely coming through. All right, pile number 3, let's take a look at the aftermath. So how will you feel once the date is over, or what happens next? So after this date, aftermath of this date, what's going on for my pile number 3s? The aftermath of this date, what's going on for my pile number 3s? Bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Needles or the Page of Swords. We also have the Ace of Potions or the Ace of Cups, the Hierophant, and we have the Three of Potions or the Three of Cups. So pile number 3, at the end of this date, I think you both are feeling very comfortable. I think you also are both feeling very confident as to what comes next. I do think this is somebody that is going to be very interested in seeing you again. I think you're going to be very interested in seeing them again. I also do think that a lot of this flirting is going to be left open-ended. Like there is going to be another date. You both are leaving this connection with like a sense of the butterflies, if you will, with anticipation, excitement. This is not an 18 plus reading, so I'm not going to say too much more than that. But there's a lot of excitement here at the end of this date, and there is a lot of desire to see each other again. And I do think you both leave each other wanting more. I don't think that is in like a way of like, let me play games or let me be intentional. But it does feel like you both really want more. You both really want to see each other again. And I do think very soon after there is going to be an opportunity for you both to plan that. I do think this is a date where you feel very happy, you feel very content at the end of this date, and you are excited for what's to come. I do also think that this is a date where it just feels like very natural to be in each other's company. And this is somebody that you can really talk to, that you can really like express yourself. And I do think that at the end of this date, part of the aftermath is knowing that there's a possibility for more, knowing that there's a possibility to build something deeper together. Let's take a look at guidance from the universe for you, my viewer. And this is going to be advice about being open, confident, or prepared for this romantic opportunity. So what is the advice for my pile number 3, my viewer? What is the advice for my pile number 3s? We have the Sun. Enjoy yourself, pile number 3. We also have the Emperor. We have the Page of Needles or the Page of Swords. We have the Page of Candles or the Page of Wands. And we have the 8 of Needles or the 8 of Swords. Pile number 3, your message about romantic opportunities and this romantic opportunity in specific is dream big. Allow yourself to ask for what you want. Allow yourself to open up to receive what you want. There is an opportunity here for you to build something with this person. I do think there's an opportunity here for you to go on at least multiple dates with this person, if not more. For some of you, there's an opportunity for this to be a relationship. For others of you, you may already be in a relationship with this person. This is about you being vulnerable. This is about you showing up as your authentic self and knowing that the right person is going to appreciate that the right person is going to love that, and that you can enjoy yourself and that you can really let your guard down in a way with this person. And if you haven't met this person just yet, just know that they are coming in and that you will meet them sooner rather than later. I think for some of you before the end of the month or definitely before the end of the year for most of you if you haven't met this person. Again, I'm recording this in October 2025, but this is timeless. But from when I'm recording this, there's only a couple of months left to the year. So I do think that within 3 months for many of you, you have already met this person if you haven't met them yet. And this is just saying allow yourself to be open and to just enjoy the moment and to enjoy yourself as you move through this connection, as you allow yourself to connect with this person. And allow your heart to lead you where you need to be and where you need to go, because it's not going to lead you to the wrong place. Pile number 3. All right, pile number 3, let's take a look at your additional messages. So we have 3 cards here. Card number 1 is the mastery. You've learned this spiritual lesson. Yeah, so there's something really good coming in. There's a lot of what you want coming in for you because you've mastered a lesson. We have trust. It is safe for you to trust in this situation. So trust that the right person is going to show up. Trust that you are going to be guided to the right situation, and trust that you are safe. And trust in yourself as well. Then we have retreat. Time alone or in nature will help you recharge. And I do think for some of you, you've been in this energy of like being alone and doing your own thing and taking care of yourself and doing whatever work you've been focusing on. So I think that's part of what you've mastered. Let's see what else we have here. So we have very sticky situation, cutting things away in order to hold things together, fixing things. And this is the tape card. So I do think that with this card, I really keep getting this for this group. I don't think there's anything happening within this connection or within this relationship, but I do think that around the time that this date happens, there are going to be some things going on. It could be like career, it could be finances, it could be personal life, it could be other relationships like platonic relationships. And I think this date is really going to help you recharge and just be present and enjoy yourself. We also have friend, trust, quiet, comfort, comfortable, hanging out, doing nothing with someone you like, pal. So I do think this is somebody that you can either meet through a friend. I do think this is somebody that you're going to be very comfortable with. And this does feel like a date that is more of like a hangout, that is more fun, that is more like adventurous, spontaneous. And I think that's what this is talking about. We also have bounce, gratitude, be happy, grateful, great attitude, life can't keep you down, bounce back. So there is going to be a very fun opportunity when you connect with this person. For those of you where you have been maybe single for a while or alone, or you haven't been receiving what you want in relationships, that's about to change. Celebrate that change coming in. let's take a look at what else we have here. So we have reliability. I am reliable. When I say I'll do something, I take whatever that something is seriously. This applies to all commitments, even the ones that may have seemed small and insignificant to a less reliable me. From now on, flaking is just dandruff commercials and cereal factories. And then we have wholeness. I am complete, whole, and filled with love. I have everything I need. If I ask or look for more, I'm ignoring the love and gifts that are already in my life. Instead, I'll be grateful and acknowledge that anything else would be extra icing on life's cake. FYI, to whoever is listening, extra icing is totally welcome, as it's obviously the most delicious part. So I do think for this group, like, practicing gratitude and being present, and I know that can be very cliche, but I think that could be very helpful for this group during the time of this date, but just in general. Let's see here. Final message we have for my pile number 3s. Destiny. All that I shall need to know as I walk shall now be shown. All that I shall need to know as I walk shall now be shown. For some of you, you are meant to meet this person. For some of you, this person is going to come in during a little bit of like a rougher patch in your life, and they are going to bring in a lot of joy, and they're going to be like very easy and fun to connect with. That's absolutely coming through. But pile number 3, your affirmation for the week is, I enjoy life fully and welcome in all opportunities. I enjoy life fully and welcome in all opportunities. Claim it in the comments below. Pile number 3, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. All of those things help me and the channel out so much. That way you can also find me again. Let me know if you have any suggestions for future videos. I do keep a running list, so drop those in the comments below. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now.